this spoiler-free Halloween edition of Rewatch Review, we take another look at the Marvel Disney Plus short film Werewolf by Night, except this time I'm watching the newly released color version. Werewolf by Night was released in 2022 as a special presentation by Disney Plus. It was directed by Michael Giacchino, who's more known for his work as a composer, but I think he should consider directing more. Gael Garcia Bernal and Laura Donnelly star as Jack Russell and Elsa Bloodstone. They find themselves on the Bloodstone estate along with a host of other monster hunters, trying to find the evil that's lurking and gain possession of the Bloodstone artifact, and chaos ensues. Although it was created by Marvel Studios, it's a standalone story so far. Color or no color, I really enjoyed Werewolf by Night. The thing that stood out the most to me was just the aesthetic of the movie. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but it really set the film apart from what we usually get from Marvel, and it still might be the third best thing to have come from the MCU on Disney Plus. I love that you could tell that they used a lot of practical effects here, and they really built out the sets that we're seeing. The costume design was really nice. You could tell that the director had a real vision and a love for old school monster movies, and this made me more interested in going back and giving some of those movies a shot. Bernal and Donnelly did a great job with their characters and had a lot of help with exposition from great characters like Harriet Sansom Harris's Verussa character. There was great action here too, almost throughout the whole thing, with the monster hunters fighting each other and the werewolf tearing through the monster hunters. This was genuinely a good time. Even though it's a horror movie, I didn't originally find it to be very scary, but I recently rewatched it with my girlfriend and I can tell you that she thought that it was. I'm really short on criticisms for this film. I wish we would have spent more time with Man-Thing. He pops in and out here and there throughout the film, but I really don't know too much about the character, even though I wish that I did. Same with Jack Russell too. We see more of him and get a bit more dialogue, but not a whole lot. I'm not sure that we need a full-on origin movie, but I'd like to know more about how they came to be the way that they are. And I'm generally disappointed that there hasn't been any spin-off or follow-up to this. They could totally have their whole separate side universe just focusing on monster-related characters. They could let this be the starting point for that. Like, what if the new Blade movie had this aesthetic or tied into this? I love that this film was originally in black and white. It was a bold choice that made it even more closely mimic the Universal monster movies that it aims to pay homage to. It also contributed to the movie's mystique. And then there were pops of color that drew extra attention to items that were of stronger importance, like the red from the Bloodstone, or color symbolizing optimism in a particular scene. Now they've released a color version of the movie and I love that too. It doesn't feel quite as unique as the original version, but the color grading that they're doing here still gives the movie that vintage aesthetic. Some of the color pops don't stand out quite as much as they did in the other version, but I don't think that takes away from much. If I could choose a format to watch for the first time and to recommend to others, I would still choose the black and white version though. So happy Halloween. What did you think of this new version of Werewolf by Night? Did you prefer the color version or the black and white version? Let me know in the comments and be sure to like and subscribe.